Week 1 of college basketball season completed, and both number 1 and number 2 teams go down. First, LSU loses in a hostile environment in Colorado, and now UConn goes down to NC State in front of a raucous crowd. We are going to do a recap of the winner and losers, but this video will be focused on UConn and the things that they won during that game and the many losses they had during that game as well. As that is the game I am familiar with as I watched it and then rewatched it, as it's hard to see through that little black screen copyright thing they put up. But anyway, let's get into this. If you enjoy the content, then please consider subscribing to my channel as well. A like is always appreciated if you like the video at the end. All right, so first, the big winner is obviously South Carolina. Yes, something pukey for me to say, but they don't rebuild, they reload. Very cliche, but my God, I think it's true, in my opinion, they look better than they did last year, as their guard play is good with Raven Johnson, Tahina Pow as well. They've got Fudd off the bench. It is just ridiculous. And that's not even to mention what they have up front, which includes Cardoso, Kitts, and Hall. Not to mention off the bench, it is Watkins and Fagan. They are just loaded. But Pow gives them shooting from outside as well. Raven took her shot today. She was like 2 for 4 from three-point range, so they just look damn good. In the previous videos I've done on South Carolina, LSU, and UConn, the South Carolina fan has talked a lot of S about being disrespected and everything else. They are the winners because they get the last laugh because they were right. And they get to talk all the S they want because right now, and it is early, but right now they look like the best team in the country and have the best 2 wins to date, bar none. So UConn and LSU fan, you will just have to eat it until you play them. The next winner are the freshmen. They are showing out early in the season, from Judah Watkins all the way down to Malaysia Fudd, who had that sick pass against Notre Dame. But a full breakdown of the fish is for another video. Now let's focus on UConn. Now I want to start with wins because I think there's a silver lining in every dark cloud. And funny enough, I do think there were a few silver linings in the loss today, but a hell of a lot of losses as well. Their big win is Paige Bueckers looks good. She was 11 of 18 for 27 points, and more important, she had no fear. She was throwing herself around and willing to attack the basket. Early on in the game, she pulled the ball out and then did a sick crossover, and as she's going to the basket, she leaned in to draw the and one, and you're like, yep, there you go. That's why it's nice to have Paige on your team. She just plays big. She has a little bit of rust. I think she had a few turnovers. The other thing was she was limited to 30 minutes. That's about 10 minutes too short of what UConn needed her to play, I would suggest. Win number 2 for UConn, in my opinion, and people probably won't agree, but I think UConn has a big 3. Yes, you have Edwards and Bueckers, but as well, you have AZ Fudd, and this probably sounds strange for the guy that made the video asking if she is overrated or not, but in my opinion, I am more confident on her than I was before the game started, as she got the best looks. They just did not go down. I think that bodes really, really well for her, because if she's getting open looks, they will eventually go down. So she shot 4 from 13 and 1 of 7 from three-point range. And when your shot doesn't fall, it always looks bad, but I like the fact that she kept on shooting. By all means, crush me in the comments if you like. I am the guy that said, or asked the question, is she overrated? I still don't think she should be 11 on the ESPN list. But I think by the time the season ends, she will be more than justify that position, to be quite honest with you. Now the big losers for UConn. Now, first and foremost, I have the starting lineup. So they started, and they did this in the first game. They're going Paige, Beckers, Fudd, and Edwards. Have no issues with that, obviously. And then Descharme and Mule. And again, this probably looked worse because they didn't hit their shots. But at the same time, I just don't like this lineup. I don't see how it's going to work. I know Oriema wants shooting out there, but I would have Griffin starting over Descharme. I really don't understand this whole idea or concept that she can only play in 4 or 5 minute bursts. I mean, she played longer than that last year. So all of a sudden, while that's an issue, I think she's your most athletic player that you have next to Edwards, and you need her on the court for more minutes. And that leaves the other one with Mule. I just don't get it. The just she's fine. She is really fine if you don't have any other point guard, but it's just really redundant with Beckers because Beckers can handle the ball. And if she's not going to handle the ball, then have KK in there and handle it and let Beckers run off picks and stuff like that if that's what you're planning to do. I would rather see their starting or go-to lineup be something like Edwards, Griffin, and then Descharme maybe, but she can battle it out with Samuels to see who the better player is. That's fine by me, but that three going across and then having Fudd and Paige Beckers. And then Mule can spot fill for Beckers a bit as well. If you're really looking to put pressure on, then sure, go KK, Mule, and Griffin and Samuels. They had that lineup at the end of the second quarter, into the first quarter, that went on a 0-7 run, and it looked good with Edwards, Griffin, Samuels, Mule, and KK. It just looked really athletic, like they could stay in front, and they got a little bit of a run. That's what I would do to sort of change the pace potentially. And then this leads me into the second big loss for UConn is their development of their bigs. I mean, Gino clearly was pissed off at Brady after she didn't go straight up on getting the rebound and sort of did like a turnaround, jumper to take that shot. And then she only got 7 minutes the whole game, which is ridiculous. I don't know if he's looking at psychologically destroying another big like DeBerry or what. But you say yourself, your team's not big enough. You need to develop bigs and sort of wear the growing pains of that. She's not going to develop you sitting her on the bench in the second half. Even if you are pissed off. I mean, you're the guy that says, I want you to go out and not worry about making mistakes. I mean, how can a player do that if you're just going to not give her minutes just because you're not happy with her first half and a first real big game? So I'm not a big fan of that. And then in the press conference as well, Gino was like, hey, we've had small teams in the past that can rebound and small players that can rebound. Size is not an issue. And it's like, you were the guy that was bitching in a press conference last week about how your team would look damn good if you had Patterson was back and you had more size as well with Jana as well. You're the one that said that. So yeah, you want size. You want size. I mean, I understand you're bitching at your team because you want them to get more rebounds, but you need to sort of take your medicine and develop, future bigs, because Edwards likely gone after this year and you have nobody. So you need to suck it up and take your growing pains with Patterson. So I thought that was a real big loss for UConn. Limiting her just to 7 minutes was a joke. And then the last loss of the day, it will go to AZ Fudd. And I'm contradicting myself because she was, a winner because she took the shots. And I agree with that. But man, the last 5 minutes of the fourth was not good for her, as they had a chance to cut the lead to 6, and she had a little jumper that she missed. And then straight away, she tried to put the pressure defense on and got blown by, and then got no help from Samuels. And the thing is that AZ needs one of those games where it's all going wrong, but she makes the big shot to win it, or just that game in the hostile environment where she comes through. Beckers has those on her resume, but AZ does not, and it would have been nice if she could have, even for a bad day, if she could have cleaned it up at the end, that would have been a massive win for her, and she wasn't able to get it. I still think it's early, and UConn has the potential to be a Final Four team, no doubt. But does Gino have the stomach and patience to play the freshmen, which he will need in March if they are really going to be a serious threat to win the championship? I don't know. That'll be an interesting question. Anyway, your comments below are always welcome. Your poison as well. I imagine I'll get a lot after this, but more than welcome to have it. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.